Hi, I'm going to show you how to set up your 25 coupon system so that you can structure this in a way that will help you expand later on. And so the first thing I want to talk about is the overall tree structure of the system. So at the very top, we have organizations. Your plan may include multiple organizations, and one organization is one directory and one domain name. So if your plan includes multiple organizations, the reason why that might be useful is if you want to have multiple directories, let's say in another niche. So most likely you're probably going to have one directory that's going to be, coupons for local businesses. But let's say you want to do something in the medical field that's specific just to, Chicago healthcare or something where it's just dentists, chiropractors, doctors, things like that, and you want to have a separate directory. That's where that would be useful. But in the case where you want to just have you're just serving local businesses and the coupons, you might just have one directory, one domain name, and that's going to be your organization. The next thing underneath that are markets. So in the case of this example here, I have sample deals. So let's say our site is sampledeals.org, and within that we have two markets set up here. So I'll show you where to go. Just setup and then markets. That takes us to the markets page. We just add a new market, choose the city or the state and country. Pretty straightforward there, and that gives us our markets. Within the markets, so it could be like a larger suburb. Whatever is considered that local market may be like 2 or 3 zones. Within that would be your mailing zones. All right, so in this case, you can kind of see Clinton, Greenville, and then in Greenville, I've got Greenville North. Greenville might be a town of 30 or a suburb of 30,000 people or so, and so you've got basically 2 zones with 10,000 mailboxes each. This is all made up, but that's the scenario you'll likely want to follow. Then within your zones, then you have mailings. So you create a mailing, which a mailing is simply a date that's going to go to a certain zone. So it's one flyer or one postcard. That's what a mailing is. And then the other thing we can have are schedules. Schedules are primarily used for when you're dealing with agreements. And the reason why we have schedules are so that the system knows when you plan to mail to a particular zone. So that way when the system creates the agreement, it can say and list out that more important information. So in this case, the one I have here, a schedule, is I'm going to mail to the Greenville South zone on the even months of the year on week 1. And so February, April, June, August, October, December. So now when we go to add an agreement, so to add an agreement for a particular business, we can go here and to the accounts, clients, and then we can click to create a new agreement. And when we do that, we can choose a schedule, which is under the Greenville South zone, and we'll pick that schedule. We choose the start date, the end date, and then that way, now when we go to view this agreement here, it'll actually indicate how many mailings are included. 6 mailings on these months from in this date range. So if you're not going to use agreements, then you probably don't need to use schedules unless you want to just do that for your internal organizational purposes. But if you don't plan to use agreements and you don't want to use schedules, then what you can do is on your dashboard, you can go to pick a zone, and then you can just create a new mailing without schedule, and that just creates a mailing to that zone, and that's the simplest way to do that. especially if you're just starting out, you just want to get your first mailing done. I would recommend doing that just so you don't have to worry about if you're not wanting to bother with agreements right away. So now that we've covered that, I'm going to show you the markets. This is the home page. So we go to our dashboard and we view the home page. When we have our markets set up, so this will be your domain name. Let's say your domain name is sampledeals.org. In this case, I just am using a subdomain here of 25 coupons. People, you could print that on your business cards and flyers and so forth. People will come to this site. This is the first thing they'll see, and if it's on a mobile device, you can see there's you can't really get lost here. And then they'll be able to choose their city. And so if you have multiple states, as you grow and you have multiple states, you'll be able to see those here. If you want them to, let's say you're starting out and you just have one market you don't want them to have to pick. What you can do is go to your organization. So we're on the dashboard here and we're on this organization's dashboard. We just go to edit the organization and scroll down here, and we're going to find the here it is, default market. We can have none, the visitor must choose, and that's what I just showed you. Or if you pick one here, then it'll just go, if you type in your domain name for your organization, your directory, which is what you'd enter here in the custom domain field, then it will go directly to that page right here. Okay, is that particularly useful if you have one? If you have multiple, you probably want to have them choose. And when the person fills out this form here, it's for whatever they're signing up for deals from this particular market. So if they want to opt into deals to multiple markets, they would need to choose another market and then opt in again. I'll jump back here to this. When you're editing your organization page, and you'll have to take a look at the DNS setup video, but I want to mention it here as well. You want to make sure that your custom domain is entered after you've done your DNS setup. You want to make sure it's entered here. And in I'm using this. Any subdomain will work, but most likely you're going to want to have the www because that'll probably be what your domain is. You want to make sure you put www.yourdomain. You probably don't want to have that because that's not going to direct properly. You want to be mapping, because of the way we set up CNAMEs and just the way that the DNS works. You want to make sure it's www, and you watch the DNS video for more information on that.